try and give you as much of these tips that I've got. And I'm going to go through 5 of them, and I'm going to take a few minutes on each one of them. So I'm going to start now, and I'm going to try and admit people as they come in. All right. So firstly is, I just want to point out what today is about. Today is a very simple thing. Is everyone, and I mean most people, use Google to search. And because it's such a simple program to use, you merely type what you need and you get your results. The problem with it is that it just takes far too long. You know, and the quote that you see up on screen here is, the internet's the world's largest library, it's just that the books are all on the floor, which means there's a huge amount of knowledge that's codified and is being presented on the internet. Now the challenge is very different from many decades ago, where it was very difficult to get knowledge easily. The challenge now is that it's easy to get information, but you get so much of information that the skill is now how to get to the information rather than knowing getting the knowledge yourself. So that's the challenge. Okay, I'm going to try and mute everyone again, because there's quite a few people who are not on mute. Right, there we go. So the problem is we've got too much of information, and I did a search and I typed in COVID in Google and I got 3,920,000,000 results. Now, too much of information again. So the challenge is now, how do I get to that information that's much better and much faster? And the second quote you see here is, the second problem we have is that we are in a modern world far too impatient. We want what we want very, very quickly. So we never go to page 2 of the Google search results. That's why that's exactly where you should hide a dead body. All right, so the challenge is, you've got so much of information that is available to you, but you don't know which one it is. And even if you have a means of finding it, it'll take you far too long because you've got to go through all these search results. So the whole point of today is, how do you get to those search results as quickly as possible? Now, here's, just before we go this, and I've got only 3 slides, and this is the third one, is how do you get the results we want? In many cases, the problem actually lies with you, is you don't know what you want. And that's really the thing, is that you don't know what you want. What you do is, generally we type in the first word that comes to our mind, and that's how we get billions of results. So that's not the way to do it. So if you're looking for something, please do not type in the first word you want. You need to refine that search, and you ask 2 main questions. What exactly are you looking for? And the emphasis is exactly. What exactly are you looking for? Is it something very general, or is it something very specific? If it's general, it's going to take you a while. If it's specific, it should take you a shorter time if you know how. What form do you want it in? Is it an article, a report, a website? And I'll speak a bit more about that a little bit later. But the golden rule when you're doing search is, don't be vague, be specific. Be as specific as you possibly can. Right. So what I'm going to go through now is basically the 5 tips that I would use for Google search. And I'm going to go into the Google site now and make sure that everyone is seeing the site. Right. Can everyone see that there's Google in there? And you're not seeing my desktop or anything like that? Right. And I'll take it that that's yes. Fantastic. Okay. So the very first thing is, how do you search for something exact? Now I'm going to give you a scenario. The scenario is this. You have visited a doctor's surgery, and while you were sitting there, you noticed an article which had the words, "The effect of smoking during pregnancy." So you know that's the title of the article, but you were called away before you could read the exact title. So now you want to search on the internet for that article. So generally, you will use the word, "The effect of smoking on pregnancy." Right, and that's great. Let's just get those spelling right. And now what you get is a bunch of results with the words effect, smoking, and pregnancy on it. Right, and again, 61,700,000 results. Now that's not exactly what you want. That means you have got to continually be searching through where do you think this article is? And so the first tip is, when you need to use something, when you need to use exactly what you're looking for, you use quotes. So what this does is it will only give you results which has got that phrase in the article. See, there you see here, the effect of smoking on pregnancy. The effect of smoking on pregnancy. And there we go. This is probably the article you're looking for. The effect of smoking on pregnancy is in the first line. So whenever you want to be specific about what you're looking for, is what you do is you take anything and you put it in what is called a phrase. Right. So you just put quotes and you will get exactly the article or what exactly the lines you're looking for. And now there's many examples of this, and often if you're looking for the song lyrics, so if you're thinking of a song that you know and you only know one part of the lyrics, then what you do is you just type in the words that you know, put them in quotation marks, and there you got your lyrics. The song will come up almost immediately. So the first tip is you have to search for an exact phrase. And the second is, how do you, when you get results, how do you use, when you get those results, how do you take away the results that you don't want? So how do you remove the irrelevant results? So here's a scenario. You've heard of a company called I Have a Dream. That's the name of the company. You don't know the full name of it, but it's called I Have a Dream. And the only thing you know about it is that they sponsor school children to go to school. So it's somewhat of a charitable organization. And so what you do is, generally, you would say, you would type, I have a dream. And the results that you see here is, all the results here is talking about a speech called I Have a Dream, right? So it's all about Martin Luther King. Right, so Martin Luther King, all of these speeches, all of these results are to do with the Martin Luther King speech. Now, clearly, this is not what you want, right? And in fact, you make the mistake in the first place of actually putting the phrase without quotes. So that's what you want to do first. And then you want to take out everything that mentions, say, Luther as part of Martin Luther King. So if you use subtract sign or the minus sign, you will get all the results of I Have a Dream, but none of them have the speech in it. But now you've got another problem, because everything you get here is to do with a song. It's either by ABBA or Westlife or Andre Rieu. So again, try and remove those. There you are. Here's your I Have a Dream, and it's called I Have a Dream. It's a foundation that's got, yeah, whatever it is. It's a scholarship that they have. So you see, so when you start off with something like that's famous, for example, like I Have a Dream, is you get far too many irrelevant results. So the way to do is to subtract those results out, and that's you remove either the word or what you think is common about the results you don't want. So a similar example is if you put in Swift, right? It generally comes up with Taylor Swift, because that's most people. But for me, because I'm in mostly of the banking area, it will come up with Swift. If I really wanted Taylor Swift, you do something like that, right? And you'll get all Taylor Swift. Alternatively, if you could have done it the other way and say Swift minus bank, right? And it will take away all it will give you everything else, but it won't tell you anything about the banking applications associated with Swift. So the second tip here is to remove your irrelevant results. You've got to try and find out what is common amongst the results that you see, and then you subtract those results out. I just want to make sure that I get everyone into there as well. And I want to make sure that no one has got any questions. I see everyone, excellent, everyone's hearing me. So we will just go to the third type of tip that I wanted to share, and that is how do you get results in the right format? And by format, I'll explain in a moment. So here is the scenario, and this happens very often, especially when you're a student or you're doing research in business, is you want to find a list of all the state-owned companies in South Africa, right? And in general, you type in state-owned companies, South Africa. So there we are. We've got a whole bunch of companies there. And if you look at the first one, there we are. Fantastic, right? We've got our list. Now, you might think that this is a successful search because you got it on the very first set of results you wanted. But really, what you really wanted wasn't just the list. Because now that you've got the list up on screen, what did you want it for? And in most cases, you'd want it to either fit in a report or in a spreadsheet or in a slide. So the question is, how do you get this into a slide or into a spreadsheet? And the way to do it now, the one way to do it is to go and try and copy it out and put it into Word and excuse me, do some formatting, do some put it into columns and using unformatted text. So you have to do a fair amount of conversion now. And what you want to do is to try and get out of that is, if you knew in the beginning what is it that you wanted, is try and get rid of that. If you knew in the beginning what you wanted, you can actually say, if I'm looking for a spreadsheet specified, say that's the file type that I want. So in the search, when you say file type.xls, it will give you results only with a spreadsheet in it. All right, so for example, if you click onto there, so you couldn't see it come up in a separate, let's see if I can open it in a new link. Okay, open it in a new window. And so here we are. Okay, well, it's misbehaving, but let's kill that. The first time we did it, it downloaded it here. Let me just show you. So that's what we've downloaded. Okay. Right, and so we see we've downloaded our result in a spreadsheet. And if we look at each one, there we are. So here's a list of all South African owned state companies. And it's in a spreadsheet in the form that will save you an enormous amount of time. So it's not enough just to be able to find the results that you want. You must also try and specify it in the format that you want, more than anything else. Right, so on that point, let me just go back to, on that point, is there are several ways of looking at it. You can also look for, let's assume you're looking for other things, COVID, say, right. COVID report. You want a file type and you want it in a PDF. Right. So you'll get all PDF results in here. So it comes direct, especially if you're looking for reports, that would be great. You really want to be, you can use it in the word processor. These are all in Word. Right, so this is all, you'll get Microsoft Word. And of course, if you really want to be greedy, which most people want to be, they'd like to get it straight in the slide format. So I will, okay, it's not that one, but sure, let's just choose something else. There we are, and it's downloading on the left bottom there. It's downloaded a presentation. So many cases you'd have the information, but here's the information already on slides. Right, so for students, it's a piece of heaven. Right. Now, so the third tip that I wanted to share with you is how to get results in the format that you want. And that's important because this set of series of things that I'm actually trying to do in this type of training is how to get you to be more productive in ways that's very simple, where you don't need to go for long amounts of training to understand software. It's very simple tips and tricks that will save you an enormous amount of time. Now, there might be other times where when you are looking for information, you know where to get it, or you know how to search for it. The thing is, you only want it from certain places, and you don't want it from just anywhere. So, for example, if you were looking for, say, the coronavirus, say, right, you will get, there's 3 billion results. You will get results from absolutely everywhere, from every site, every blog, every corporate site, government site, you name it. So it comes from everywhere. But now if you want to limit the results so that you want to know about something and you only want to know whose opinion or someone's opinion or a certain entity's opinion, then you can limit the results. So the example I'm going to use here is, you want to learn about the coronavirus, but you want to hear only what the South African government says about it. So you have to know maybe a little bit about how websites are done, how they're written. So you would know that anything that ends up in co.za is from South Africa, right? It's a company, it's a commercial company in South Africa. If you want to know if it's a legitimate government website, it will be whatever the name is, and it will be .gov.za. So in this case, we want to find out about coronavirus, everything about the coronavirus, but only what the South African government says. So we use an operator called site.gov.za. What it does, it pulls out results only on the sites that have gov.za in it. Right, so this is everything you need to know about what the South African government is saying about it. Right, so, and there were a couple other things you can do using this here. So let's say if we want to know about results from the government, it's gov.za, but if it was only South African sites, we'll just say anything.za. So now we'll get everything here with a ZA at the end of it. So these are only South African results. And sometimes you can get really specific. Let me give an example where you can get really specific. You want to know about, say, load shedding, right? And again, you'll get information from everywhere, right? But if you want to know about load shedding and only from Eskom, type in the exact site that you want to know. So here you will get results only from an Eskom site. So now this is very useful because sometimes you want to get information from only a certain type of place, a certain type of site. So if you want to know, like as an example, this is a corporate site, or you could say it's from the site only from wikipedia.com, etc., etc., etc. Now the interesting thing about this is, let's take this further now. These are all the results that you will get from Eskom. But let's say you want to know about load shedding, but you don't trust Eskom and you don't want to know anything from Eskom. Use our operator from before, subtract. And so now you will get results from every site except from Eskom. Right, and that's often we want to know about, for example, you can see how we could find out about the coronavirus, right? But we don't want to hear what the government says about it. We want to hear what everyone else says about it. And so on it goes. You know, there are lots of similar types of things you can do with this. If you don't like News 24 or you don't like CNN, you just subtract the CNN side from there. And if you continue, you can do it compoundly. You don't want to hear what the government has to say about it. You also don't want to hear what, let's see, Eskom says about it. Whatever the case may be, you can carry on adding operators as you go along. They just carry on removing all the sites that you've got. And that's how you manage to limit very quickly the results that you want. So the fourth, that was the fourth tip on results from certain sites. the fifth one that I want to talk about is not an operator. And an operator in this case means what, like the words like cite or minus or quotes. Those are the things that you put onto the actual search term. In this case, I'm asking for I'm going to show something different. Let's assume you want a report on the tourism industry in South Africa. So quite easy, tourism industry, South Africa, and again, you will get results from everywhere. Now, the problem is lots of these results. Let me see if I can pick up something here. That doesn't really come up. But sometimes you can get results going back 15, close to 20 years. And how do you limit the results to a certain time? Right? And you go to tools. And when it gets to any time, and you'll see a bunch of options here. Many people actually have never seen this before. You can choose, I want to know anything only in the last 24 hours. For example, coronavirus. What has happened in the last hour, right? What's happened in the last month? Or are there any results in the last year? And if you want to start being greedy now, you say, well, can I have a PDF report? There we go, only in the last year. And you can go even further, because sometimes you might want to know about something, but you don't want to know the latest for whatever reason. Remember, this is research. Is what you can do, you say, I actually want the reports only from, say, 2017 to 2019. Right, so you can see you've chosen a custom time where only in that time you want to know about any report. Now, this becomes very useful when you're doing news and you want to, for example, read about some scandal that happened a few years ago. And you just know it happened maybe between 4 to 6 years ago. And therefore, you just change this timing. And so now you'll be able to do very simply, you'll be able to find out where to get your results. So that's the 5 things I wanted to mention. And I want to just review that very quickly. The first one is, how do you get an exact phrase? You use your quotes, right, which is quotation marks. Secondly, how do you remove your irrelevant results? And that is, you subtract the results that you wanted. You subtract either a name or place or whatever the case may be. Thirdly, how would you get results in the right format, whether it's a PowerPoint, Excel, PDF, whatever document. Number 4 was, how do you limit your results from only specific sites? Either an Eskom site, a government site, a South African site. And the last one was how to get your results from specific times only. Right? And that's when you use your tools option there. Now, what I want to just go through very quickly, we were only a few minutes and I really do want to finish on time, is I want to again share my screen and I want to just make sure that you are seeing the slide. And I want to do something on what I call the Holy Grail. And that is, how do you search only once to find a result? And I've given a few examples here, is where you construct the term using those operators. And so, for example, you need to be very specific about what you want, where, from what, in what format. So in these results here, you'd say, I want to research load shedding information from Eskom only in the last month. So you type Eskom, you specify only from the site, eskom.co.za, and then under tools, you choose last month. So second example is, if you want the report on crime statistics in Namibia in the last 2 years, you would say crime statistics and the site .na, because that's the Namibian site, .na, and then you ask for the file type, PDF, right? And then you choose a custom time from the last 2 years, whichever that was. The thirdly is you want a slide presentation on the retail industry. You say retail industry South Africa, file type PPT, and you want to research on coronavirus, but not from South Africa, and you don't want any PDF or PowerPoint results. You type coronavirus minus site ZA, because it's all non-South African, a minus file type PDF means no PDFs, minus file type PPT, you don't want any PowerPoint as well. So this is really the holy grail of search, is once you know those few operators, you should never be using a single term to find anything you want. Is you've got to think about this line here. What you want, when, where, how, what format. Right? What is going to be the most useful result that you're going to get? And then you just really construct your search in this form here. Right, so that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to make a few closing remarks, and I'm sorry I can't take any questions at this time, because I really want to keep this very short, and I'll have a series of this on other small tips and tricks, not on Google, but just on how to discuss conversions between Excel, PowerPoint, and in Google there's also a whole bunch of other things I haven't spoken about, which will be part of another webinar. There's some fantastic things that's in there, especially if you're a student. I'll probably talk about Scholar Google in the next result, in the next webinar. But so, as I've shown this to you, there's a few closing remarks I want to make. One is that nothing here is beyond the ability of anyone. It's as simple, it's a very, very simple set of things to learn. And it's so, there's only 5 things here to learn, and it's extremely easy to be able to put into practice. It's one of these training programs you can learn instantly, because after you leave this, you can start using it immediately. The second thing is, where can you reference this? And unfortunately, there are many people on the webinar here that I don't know where you're from, so I wouldn't be able to necessarily get hold of you. But what I will do is, these slides that are here, so these slides that are here, I will put it on a site, and this is the site I'm going to put it in, right? So please don't go there now, it's not there, right? But I'll put it in there by tonight. I've also recorded this webinar. So when I do convert the recording, I will also put it on the site, and you'll be able to find it there. And it will soon start redirecting you to other places. So that's what I want to speak about. Thank you very much for joining. I appreciate that people found it useful enough to actually come on and stay on. I will want to assume make sure there's anything in particular. Right, fantastic. Okay, so as I said, thanks very much for joining. I wanted to keep to my half-hour limit, which I have. Please go to the site, visit it later tonight or tomorrow, and you should find both this presentation on there with the summary on the tips, as well as this recording. All right, good night, everyone. Thanks very much. Bye.